Check your work as I review the problems with you. You can take out a pen and check each step as I go to confirm that you showed all of your work. Step 1 is always to rewrite the question in sentence form, leaving a space for the answer. I wrote, Jeremy weighs blank pounds. The next step is to determine who or what is involved in the problem. This will help me decide whether to set the problem up as a comparison or a part-whole model. Jeremy is 15 pounds heavier than Mike. The word heavier tells me that I'm comparing two things. In this case, I'm comparing Jeremy's weight to Mike's weight. So I will set up a comparison model since I'm comparing two things. I'll label one bar J for Jeremy and the other M for Mike. Step 3 is to draw the unit bars. To do so, I want to read the information in the problem one line at a time, labeling as I go. I'll draw a bar to represent Jeremy, and since I'm told that he is 15 pounds heavier than Mike, I'll draw a shorter bar for Mike. I'll draw a dotted line coming up from the end of Mike's bar to illustrate and label how much heavier Jeremy is than Mike. The first sentence of the problem states that Jeremy's 15 pounds heavier, so I'll label this on my bar. I've filled in all information from the first sentence, so I'm going to go on to the next sentence, labeling as I go. The total weight of the two boys is 171 pounds. So now I can label that off to the side, showing that Jeremy and Mike weigh 171 pounds altogether. Finally, I can read my last sentence and fill in the question mark, which is what I'm trying to find by solving the problem. I'm asked, how much does Jeremy weigh? So my question mark will go over the bar representing Jeremy's weight. And now I can solve. I want to find Jeremy's weight, and I know that his weight is 15 pounds heavier than Mike's. But I don't know what the rest of his bar is. I only have the 15 pounds labeled. I have to figure out what this section is. And to do that, I have to take away the extra 15 from 171 so that I'm left with 2 equal bars. So I will start by subtracting. 171 minus 15 is 156. Now that would be 2 equal bars, just Jeremy's up to this part and Mike's bar. If I want to find just one of those units, I have to divide by 2. So my next step is going to be to divide 156 by 2, which is 78. So that means that this section of Jeremy's bar is 78 and Mike's bar is 78. But I want to find all of Jeremy's weight. So that means that I have to add 15 pounds to 78 because I want to know all of Jeremy's weight. So my next step will be to add 78 and 15, which equals 93. So Jeremy weighs 93 pounds. And finally, I'll put that into my sentence and make sure that that seems reasonable. I'm going to start this problem the same way that we start them all, by rewriting the question in sentence form, leaving a space for the answer. My sentence is, there are blank unsharpened pencils. Now I'm going to determine the who or what that is involved in the problem. In this case, I know we're talking about pencils and that there are thrice as many, which means 3 times as many unsharpened pencils as sharpened pencils. So that means that I'm comparing sharpened pencils to unsharpened pencils. So I've labeled that on the side for each bar. Now I can begin drawing the unit bars. Again, I'll take it one line at a time. The first line says, there are 1,224 pencils in Mrs. Queso's classroom. That's the total amount, but I don't have the bars drawn yet. So I'm going to hold that to the side and label that after I make my bars. I'll go to the next sentence to see if that information can help me create the bars for sharpened pencils and unsharpened pencils. It says there are thrice as many unsharpened pencils as sharpened pencils. Thrice as many means 3 times as many. So when I draw my unit bar for unsharpened pencils, I'm going to want to make 3 that are that size to show 3 times as many, and 1 of the same size for sharpened pencils. Now I'm illustrating that there are 3 times as many unsharpened pencils as sharpened pencils. Now that I have my bars labeled, I can label the total off to the side, 1,224 pencils in all. Now I can read the final sentence and mark my question mark, which is what I'm solving the problem to find. How many unsharpened pencils are there? So my question mark is going to go on the unsharpened pencils. And now I can solve. I have 4 units of equal size that equal 1,224. So my first step is going to be to find 1 unit. If I divide the total by 4, I can find what 1 unit in the bar equals. It would be 306. That means that each unit is 306 pencils. Now I can find out how many unsharpened pencils there are. If I multiply 306 by 3, I will find out the total of unsharpened pencils. When I multiply that, I get 918. So I can cross off my question mark, write 918, and put that in my answer. There are 918 unsharpened pencils. And remember to check that it seems reasonable. On our third problem here, we're once again going to start by writing our sentence at the bottom. So Jessica must give Lennox blank Jolly Ranchers. This is a before and after model, and I see the words as many as, so I know that I am comparing. I'm comparing Jessica and her Jolly Ranchers with Lennox and his Jolly Ranchers. It tells me that Jessica has thrice as many, which means 3 times as many. So I'm going to draw a bar for Jessica and split it into 3 parts. That means that Lennox has 1 bar or 1 unit of equal size. It tells me that they will have 150 each in the end. If they're going to each have 150 in the end, that means that they have a total of 300 Jolly Ranchers to start. I did that by solving 150 times 2. So they have 300 Jolly Ranchers all together. I want to find out how many Jolly Ranchers Jessica must give Lennox so that they will have an equal amount. I know that this bar and this bar are equal amounts, right? So I need to take a look at the extra. So take a look at the 2 white units. To make it equal, Jessica would have to give away 1 of those units because that's half of what she has. I'm going to draw a dotted unit of the same size, and that would move down to Lennox's bar, giving them an equal amount. This is what I want to find. I can solve for this in 1 step. I know that 4 units, this was my first one, 2nd unit, 3rd unit, 4th unit. Remember, we don't count this one twice because it's moving down to Lennox's bar. So I had a total of 4 units that equal 300. So if I divide 300 by 4 and get 75, that's how many are in each unit. So that means that Jessica must give Lennox 75 Jolly Ranchers. Okay, let's take a look at our final problem. Once again, I'm going to rewrite the question as a sentence, leaving a blank for my answer. So they sold blank cups of lemonade in all. I'm told that Kathy sold 164 cups of lemonade, so I know 1 person is involved, and that she sold 4 times as many cups as Isabella. So I'm going to have a comparison here. They also include another person. They say Claire sold 30 cups more than Isabella. Since Isabella is being compared to both Kathy and Claire, I'm going to put her bar in the middle. So I have Isabella's bar in the middle, Kathy and Claire on either side of that. Now I can fill in what I know. I know that Claire sold 164 cups of lemonade and that she sold 4 times as many. So I draw a bar and break it up into 4 units to show that she has 4 times as many as Isabella. I know that she has 164 in all. Now I can draw the bar for Claire. It tells me that Claire sold 30 cups more than Isabella. So I'm going to draw a bar that's longer, put a dotted line down to show the extra, and label 30 more. I want to find out how many they sold in all. So there's my question mark. And now I can begin to solve. I have to ask myself, how can I find 1 unit? Because I know that 1, 2, 3, 4 units are equal to 164. I can solve by dividing. 164 divided by 4 equals 41. That means that each of these units in this bar is equal to 41. I want to look and see what other units are the same as one of Kathy's units. So one of Isabella's units are the same, that's 41. And this dotted line that I drew here shows me that this section is also the same. So Claire's unit, full bar, would be 41 and 30. But now I can solve. I can find the total because I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units that are 41 cups of lemonade each. So I can multiply 41 times 6. I get 246. And I still have to add the 30 more cups of lemonade that Claire sold. So 246 plus 30 is 276. I can cross off my question mark, and write 276 and put that in my answer. They sold 276 cups of lemonade in all.